What is going on, everybody? This is Bronco Juggalo, and I am coming to you today with another Bronco Juggalo Top 10. Today I am doing the Top 10 post-2000 horror films. Now, before I get onto the list, I do have a couple honorable mentions. Actually, I have a ton of honorable mentions, but I'm going to narrow it down to just a few. On first reflection, I didn't think about how many good horror films there were post-2000s. The post-2000s aren't known for its great horror films, honestly. We kind of think of the 80s as the golden era, the 70s as kind of like the silver era, even though it's a little backwards, and the 90s as the bronze era, and the modern era is just kind of, left out of the greatest of all time conversation for the most part. But I really did enjoy a lot of 2000 films, and I forgot about a lot of movies that were made in the 2000s. So when I was preparing for this list and I was going over films that are made post 2000s, a lot of films came out that I wasn't thinking about. So it actually was very difficult to narrow this down to just 10 movies. So I do have some honorable mentions I want to get out of the way real quick. Number one is Shaun of the Dead. And the reason Shaun of the Dead is on my honorable mention list and not on my horror movie list, my top 10 list, is yes, it's a horror comedy, but it has always, I thought, in my opinion, been more comedy than horror. So I didn't put it on the list just because of that. The second one I want to mention is Battle Royale. I am a huge Battle Royale fan. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. But I don't consider Battle Royale a horror film. I never have. I don't know why people do. I just don't get that. My next honorable mention is 28 Days and 28 Weeks Later. Both are great films. I love them both. My next one is Friday the 13th, 2009 remake. I really like that movie, and I would have made it part of the top 10, except you're only allowed one per franchise in this particular list. That's my own rule. One movie per franchise. So I couldn't put it in because of another movie I put in the list. My next honorable mention will be Dog Soldiers, a movie that I truly, truly love. There are so many more, some that I'm probably not even thinking about. But those are the ones that I just wanted to mention. And the rest that I'm going to put in will be in my top 10 list. Now, as I said, one of my self-imposed rules is I only am going to include one film per franchise. So starting with number 10, we have the 2017 film Terrifier. Now, it took me a couple watches, but after that second watch, I was just blown away by this movie. I mean, I was blown away by it the first time, but I didn't know if it was good or not. I knew that it was definitely interesting. I knew it was definitely different and definitely a little disturbing and graphic, but I didn't know how good it was, in my own opinion, how good it was. And since then, I've just come to absolutely love this movie. And just remember, folks, all of these movies are my opinion, from my tastes. But Terrifier makes this list for the simple performance of David Howard Thornton. Just an absolutely brilliant performance as art, and I fucking loved it. Coming in at number 9 is going to be a very controversial pick, but remember, this is my list and my tastes. Coming in at number 9 is Leprechaun Returns. I enjoyed this movie immensely. It was so, so good. I fucking loved it. And I love the Leprechaun franchise, so it's not hard for me to place this in a top list because I love that fucking movie. Leprechaun 2 is one of my favorite movies of all time. So, coming in at number 8 is a modern slasher classic that I absolutely love. It's also a home invasion film, and that is The Collector. I fucking love The Collector. It is such a great and awesome movie. Coming in at number 7 is a trippy fucking awesome horror film, and that is American Psycho. Absolutely love American Psycho. Love Christian Bale. This movie, I didn't realize that it came out in 2000. I thought it came out in the 90s until I was looking at it again about a year or so ago, and I realized that it came out in very early 2000s. So yeah, I really enjoyed this movie a lot, and I think it's an awesome film. Coming in at number 6 is a movie that completely revolutionized horror. And it revolutionized the way people look at horror films, and it sparked the career of an awesome director. And that movie is Saw. And I fucking love Saw. I think it's a great movie. And it's definitely one of the best films of the 2000s. Definitely has one of the best endings of all time. Just an absolute gem of a film. Coming in at number 5 is perhaps another controversial pick, but remember, this is my list. And I love this franchise and I love this movie. And that is Curse of Chucky. I fucking love Curse of Chucky. It is an absolutely amazing film. So back to the roots on the horror and the scare and less comedy. And just an absolutely great film. Now I'm on my top 4, guys. 3 of these movies you will see on my top 10 horror movies of all time list. One of these movies would make that list now if I redid the list, probably. Coming in at number 4 is The Conjuring. A brilliant film, absolutely awesome, and very terrifying in my opinion. Coming in at number 3 is The Devil's Rejects, Rob Zombie's best film to date. Still, he hasn't done anything better than this. Don't know if he ever will, but it's an awesome movie. Coming in at number 2 is a movie that I had actually lower on my ranking for my top 10 of all time. But now, after rewatching it, it's gotten higher than Devil's Rejects and The Conjuring. And that is Freddy vs. Jason. And I fucking love this movie. It's so awesome. And I don't understand the hate it's been getting lately. It truly was a great defining performance for Robert Englund. And I fucking love it. And my number 1 film, guys, a film that just barely edged out Freddy vs. Jason. A film I think is the best made horror film of the last 20 years. And it would definitely go in my top 10 list if I redid that list. And that is Halloween 2018. Fucking love that movie. In fact, I'm thinking about redoing my top 10 horror movies of all time list and just making it Halloween, Halloween 6, Halloween 2, Halloween 2018, so on and so forth. Basically the Halloween franchise. No, just kidding. But anyways, guys, that is BroncoJuggalo's top 10 post-2000 horror films. I know sometimes these lists may contradict one another, but that's because they change and they evolve, and as I watch movies again and I see them in different lights, it changes for me. I am really loving the new Halloween movie more and more every time I watch it. And it's right up there, man. It is getting right up there. It's probably even changed in my ranking since I did my Halloween ranking just a few months ago. It has changed that drastically. But that being said, guys, this is BroncoJuggalo saying I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget about the 500 subs contest. Ends on the 19th. Get your entries in, guys. This is BroncoJuggalo saying peace.
We have such sights to show you.